Hello and good evening. 7 minutes past 10. Still the 14th of February 2020. CEAD. You know how it goes by this current calendar. I got a review to do. Oh, I'm excited. I think I'm on a public cast. You may all be in bed. Let's see if any viewers appear. We're going to review old Mark Sargent, flat earthers, strap in, suit and boot up. We're going to put the warp engines on hyperdrive. We're going to fire up the flux capacitor. We're turning on the deuterium crystals. All right, we're gonna go for a ride. I'm not gonna speak fast, but we are gonna grapple some quandaries. Philip of the Schofield clan estate. That title there, the man. I'm not talking to his claimed title. I'm talking to that man, Philip. The man, Philip, blood and flesh, has just said at the end, and 12 minutes in. You'll find the video if you search YouTube after this cast, and if you haven't seen or you want to go and dissect my review accordingly, as which I hope most of you will. Philip says on the video that I've just watched at 12 minutes, and it's a 12 minute and 33 video clip that I've just watched, so it's right at the end. He just says to Mark, I want to go to the South Pole. He says, what? You can't. He says, no one. It's the only treaty that's ever been kept out of all the treaties of treaties since there has been treaties. He said, the South Pole Treaty is the only unbroken treaty. And he's like, no. Holly went, where are you getting this from? And he says, it's all over the public domain, my love. He was very gracious, was Mark. Kudos to him. Kudos to this man. And he pointed out he'd given the PDF to the directors of this morning ITV show backstage. He said, so there you go. You can envisage the South Pole like an ice wall. That's where the South Pole is. It surrounds everywhere on this flat dimension, as he's explaining. And Philip says, so I want to go there and see at the end. And he says, and if it is a wall, then we can declare that it's all flat. He says, because in the grand scheme of what's going off at the minute, I think we could all take knowing if the earth is round or flat. He says it's not really a big thing as what it used to be, I think in the grand scheme of things it'd go down quite easily. And he says, here we go, scribes, initiates, buckle up. He says, and then we can spend the money that's being invested. Yeah, and this is where the video starts to be edited and cut now. We're fading out, we're going, I presume, because that's where this video ends. And he says we can save all that money. Oh dear, Philip, what have you gone and done, my son? I'm not angry, I'm not vexated. I think this is a hilarious. Fingers up to all those out there that have watched those videos, the poorly put together makeshift videos of these alleged International Space Centre, and I've reviewed some. I've been forced to by duty and obligation before I comment and try to comment and critique, because it was something that was far distant from me, like another galaxy far away. So I got sent information and clips, and I did my own due diligence and research, and I thought there's things there that shouldn't be there, and there isn't enough evidence and claims for. So this South Pole Treaty intrigued Phil and Holly, and Philip's ended the show, yeah, with what's made me go live, because I'm only here because Philip has declared he'd like to go to the South Pole and find out for man. And if it's a load of codswallop and there's a wall there, a bit like portrayed via Hollywood in various films. He did comment and say it's a bit like the Game of Thrones, to be fair. And I just thought this is a double-edged sword. This is because there's mans out there that aren't like us indigos, initiates of self, guild members, self scholars, academics, self critiques, OCDs, ADHDs, all of the three-letter gang, and more. And so it will shock and scare quite a few, because it's down to faith, comes down to faith, what you believe and how you believe. So if you've watched this and you've got any input, let's fly, scribes. Let me give you a chance to tell me what you think, what go on with a major national news entity such as ITV this morning, with celebrity status icons such as, they're not I giving them, I don't know, they're no icons to me, but allegedly in the glossaries, they are, in the columns of, they are A-list celebrities, for want of a better, So these are discussing with Mark, and 12 minutes 33 for a complex scientific, we've spent 12 minutes 33 just going over the etymology of one word. So to have an open national discussion, they did belittle him a little bit, and they brought NASA into it as the evidence is. And Mark said, you know where NASA came from, Phil? And he explained about NASA's enterprise and projects and wars and scientists. He explained about treaties. Man held it down. This is substance over form. In all that 12 minutes 33, if you watch that, I'll put the link in to the description before I go to bed, and after this, I promise you, if you can't find it, you'll search YouTube for Flat Earth ITV Mark Sargent, and you'll find ITV YouTube has got the video. It's the only copy of it. It's on ITV YouTube. ITV this morning. Nearly said TVAM. Wow. Time warp. Not TVAM. We're not with Anne and Nick, Dave. Back to dark place. Phil and Holly. They at the end, right, he knew they were running out of time, did Mark. And what he did, he went through 5 points of like the technology that we have now, and the camera lenses, and how much digital zoom that they have across how many miles or kilometers, and the curvature of the earth, and what is mathematically and academically portrayed, and how they can easily disprove that. And I'm not here to conclusively, I'm sorry to say, prove to you our beliefs, because that's what a belief is, and faith to some extent relies upon faith. And if somebody has put in an academic realm some numbers and figures and algorithms and shapes and sizes, Neil deGrasse Tyson and such other, I can't think of that other guy from the BBC that always comes up into play. We've had conjecture from the church, from the state, Copernicus, heliocentric, geocentric. When you hear these terminologies, the heliocentric is obviously the helio, sun, helios, sun. So we have the heliocentric would be the center, the sun, and everything rotating, gravitating around that. The geocentric, geography, land, geological, geothermal, it's all, but mainly land, center, fixed, immovable, placed. And then the argumentation, this subject does spark a lot of creativity, a lot of initiative, and there's a lot going off. I'm not here to sidetrack. I'm reviewing this interview, and I'm just bringing in past Sun and Moon gang, clan, tribe, initiates, respect. A lot of work's been done. So when you go to the academic sides, fam, and you look at stars and proximities and shape sizes, spinning luminaries, moons, etc., and you bring it together, you can easily tell them that their figures are not quite adding up, for want of better. So that's all that's happened. So that's technology. Other measurements have been done. We're not here to argue about that, but Mark brought in some unequivocal commentary, very articulated at the end. I think Philip has got a job from the direction of the producers and so forth of the show to back it up with NASA. And Mark did explain about CGI and what he believes. Okay, that I have to be careful because of the channels and how they try to shut you down and threaten and strike and etc. I am just giving a review and telling you what Mark said and what brother said there. And then it might be controversial, but they've put it on a national network of the landmass. Clever, crafty at this time in 2020. Conjecture has been placed into the mindset. Not that it's not really relative, it's a weapon of mass distraction. It's another topic among topics to distract, It's not relevant really, but because we're here and it gets put in your face. I've never spoke to Mark. I know Karen and others have had him in the loop and have had gracious chats and mental alchemical dips into the thought potentiality consciousness of the realm and where we are, laws, sciences, etc. So I am mixed emotions, but like I say, the main point I got from that was you, Philip, at the end. Schofield. He's in the controversy at the minute, but more so the controversial comment that if this is a load of codswallop, then all that money that's been sidewiped for a space project, so I think Holly says, well, what's a space station? I see it going overhead. And Philip then says, well, I've got an app and it says where the space station's coming overhead. And I looked on my laptop and I was looking at the space station video footage and I was looking at the app and they both added up. And Mark went, yeah, that's just technology, Phil. It's just technology. He says, there could be something up there. There is something up there. He says, I don't give you that. And he says, there might not be anybody in it, though. He says, what's going on here is down to, interpretation to some extent. And it was well done, gentleman, honour. But you could see that Phil was edgy. If you've ever watched Philip interview or you've ever watched Philip talk about a subject, okay, he's professional. He's calm, he's composed, he's got experience, he's rubbed shoulders with whoever and whenever for years. He started in a broom cupboard with a stupid cuddly toy, and then he's progressed his career as we've seen, through the square eye, the one eye, the solitary square eye, the one-eyed God, so to speak. So Philip, he knows what go on. And for him to get edgy and, things, I read into the body language, and Holly was just like, her face was just stunned. She really can't hide her inner thoughts live in the moment. And I know some of the scribes are readers, like, in many ways, body language, tone of voice, and, etc. You are very perceptive. And there's a language, many languages, as this channel's tried to bring you, within languages, inner languages, text, context, subtext, and there's an agenda, and there's confusion, and there's claims, and then there's muddy evidence. So I finally caught up with it, and I am just a little bit pissed off that Philip would make a comment such as that, because the billions that are invested into the space program, Phil, they don't want to lose that. Where are they going? If the rockets just go up and off or to a curve and end up dumping in the sea, and there's the Van Allen belts and all these radiations, and NASA's come out and says, we'd like to do X, Y, and Z, but really we can't because we get scorchio through the radiation and X, Y, and Z. And Sargent kindly laid that down as a point number whatever towards the end of the interview. But Sargent was more composed and professional than, sorry, Brother Mark, I'm getting into TV genre mode. Sorry, it's an accident. Brother Mark there, he was an example of delight. He was better than Phil, all right? If you watch how Mark is, and you watch Phil and Holly, weird, all of it, and not right, not good, left like an open septic wound to heal itself. Sorry, I know it's late and bedtime and that, I don't want to be too graphic, but this is really such a subject that you should do not prod a sleeping dog on national TV because man's looking for anyway, but sometimes you will do more harm than good, because ones that have got this festering in their heads that can't let it lie, you wouldn't let it lie, would you? Vic and Bob now, we're going back to the big night out, and you wouldn't let it lie. The trouble that got caused with man that wouldn't let it lie. And your mind races and these things, we know there's some of you out there, and you have these unburdened desires, and they become obsessions. I don't have this obsession. And I kind of have a faith, and I've learned to like the Jedi Force. I'm not a Jedi, but the same concept is that the belief in the faith satisfies and takes away. Much like the Buddha, what have you got from, what have you gained from meditation and transcendence and etc. And he says, I haven't really gained much, to be fair, maybe a bit of weight. And he's like, but I'll tell you what I've lost: anger, anxiety, resilience, uncontrolled desires, emotional, etc. And it's there you are. So I can't, as a man of law, substance, trust, give to you anything than a review of what the national stage has portrayed 5 days ago. And it's taken me this much. I've been so eager to watch this, and I wanted to make it the right time, the right place. I've saved it as a treat. And you know what? Mark deserves an award for that, for a man of, resources of, and the areas from. And Holly made a point that we all argue with each other and we don't back each other up. So just take a note of that, how the media giant and the snake's head, one of the snake's head, speaks. I don't mean Holly's a snake. I think she's a confused, lady in contract to all obligations of which she's now in beyond her depth. If she was to truly know, and I believe she knows a lot. But what she said was to Mark, amongst all of this, as if it isn't mad and contrived enough, she went on to say that everybody in the flat earth realm and that doesn't agree and fights with each other and has conflicting views and X, Y and Z. And I just thought, well, yeah, that's the trolls and the shills that the system sends in. And to some extent, the passionate ones, the ones that come online after having a beer or a few shots or, whatever it is that is your poison. And then there's a mixture, Holly, here. And we're not as malicious, indigos coming along and others that just speak their mind, and the text appears abrasive and abrupt and whatnot. But if you just take the time to consider how many different variables of meaning that one bit of text has and information, and you just extract the information and leave the emotion, things become a lot more simple and easier. And even if there is malicious intent there, you choose not to take that energy on and you dissolve it, you leave it, you neutralize it. So it was not needed for somebody in that line to reiterate that basically you don't know who to believe. There's no solidarity. There's too much. There's too much out there for you to pick out the truth, basically. And I'm like, no, that's why we have science, because Philip said the scientists came along. We used to think the earth was flat, and then science came along and it was round. Wow, eloquently put, Phil. Fuck, brilliant. No laws reference, no scientist in particular, it's a Newton, Faraday, such and such, X, Y and Z, and year and date and book and scholar and academic and institution and machines and measurements and nothing, no backup, just a pantomime. And I'm aware of the gravitas. That's the word here today, gravitas, of all of this. And I know the passion and the length of time that this continuum has bonded and baffled us. And you know how I think and what I think, and I know what how you mostly think. So we're not going to argue and fall out tonight. We're having a quick end of the weekend, strong end recap on a truly iconic moment in TV. I think we should have a campaign, if ever there was to be one, for me to go on and say, hello, have you met your data self, your spacesuit, or your equitable instrument? Are you aware of the current state of the bankruptcy and insolvency? Do you know what legalese is? Where do you live? How do you see yourself, Phil? You're a conscionable man, etc. And just have a half-hour explanation, exploratory pathway into consciousness, right and wrongs. Because good on you, Phil. Yeah, let's get Phil in a boat, because that's what he said he wanted to do on national TV. He's got enough money, so money isn't an object here, all right, Phil. Yes, because you mentioned money at the end and how much money we can put into the hospitals and how we could save this fine country by not investing it in spurious space ideas that don't exist. So with that money that you've got there, Phil, can I go and can we arrange for Phil to take a few of the trust members because we need to report back. We can't just believe Phil on his own. They're not just sending Phil down to the south wall. Good on Mark saying when you use a compass down there, it all goes ape shit, blah, blah, blah. You'll get shot to, you won't get in. And Phil, I think, is going on a one-man mission to prove. So maybe they're going to put Phil in the green screen, like it's broom cupboard. Phil, back to broom cupboard for you, lad. He who breaks the law goes back to the broom cupboard of the BBC. Fairy little puppets and a dark room for you, Phil, and you're going to correct that mistake. No, you're not. We're going to come with, and we're going to take our Canon P1000 crew. Can I get a yeah? And we're going to film it, and we're going to report back. Admiral, Captain, Admiral Schofield and the Trust will venture out and report back, hey, what has he done? We could just forget about it and let it lie. It's not that massive in the grand scheme of things compared to what we've brought to you, but hilarious on many levels, farcical on just about all, but not from the point of the FE and Brother Mark there. But ITV, badly done, lackadaisical, unprofessional, and obvious is the review ending. Now to the scribes. What are we saying? Who's in? Oh, wow. There's a lot. Brap, fly. Booyaka shack. Hear me now. Check this, brother. Check, come on, eh. Puffin the herb. Remixed it with a little bit of Human Traffic. Lisa, sister, in the house, listening as I attack my nephew and teammate. Race the longest, toughest snow machine race in the world. 2,500 miles of Alaskan wilds. Can we all just take a moment to transport ourselves metaphysically to that place in our minds? Snow. I'm seeing dogs. I'm seeing sleds. I'm seeing wooden huts with smoke coming out of them. Ah, thank you, Lise. Fly, what are you posting there? This is hilarious. Do not distract from the subject, or you will lose all concentration. Tommy, rock on. Daniel, what's your views on Darren Nesbitt's Pac-Man 4D model? I don't know, Daniel. I haven't seen it. Now that is going to keep me up from going to bed. Why did you do that, Daniel? Do not distract from the subject matter, or you will lose all concentration on the moon. I've just watched a film, Ip Man 4. Oh, Ip Man, if you like or no, Ip Man. That's all I'm going to say. Oh, wow, Ip Man. Oh, lass, just watched Ip Man 4 with me. That's how superior she is to all the female souls that I have met along the way. I've met some fine queens, and I've been very honoured and lucky, but this lady, she's the only one that's shown an interest in the Kung Fu sides, subtitled original language of Ip Man. Bosh. Such legendary, iconic storylines. Sometimes I've had a little cry to these films. Master, Sensei, Fam, Jerry. Let's go back through the names. Definitely more land hidden from us. Yes, fly. Agreed. Sustained. Stop going back in time like me with your tears was. Don't have a back in time. Let's do the rewind time with TV shows with Dave late at night on Indigo, and we'll be here all night and fly across the land around the world. Is anyone here still believing in the globe Earth? Fly, you're in a cheeky mood tonight, aren't you? You are a cheeky little scribe. That's it. We don't know who, what, why, where, when. Have we got the pistol out tonight, Dave? What you on about the chappie from Kent? Kent, Kev from Kent, Kentington, Stanley. I haven't spoke to him today actually. I don't know how he is, but to know, I believe he'll be chilling, a little bit of illing. We are between Zenith and Nadia. Lisa, and the Culture Club. That's Zenith and Nadia. I don't know who that is, what that is. Can you give us more, Lisa? Can you explain, my sister? Quinn, what? Q. I'd like to call you just Q. Q's in the house. I've been on some of your channels and looking at some of your videos actually. In between my rounds, you'll see maybe a notification. Jerry, it's a scam, an effort to prove we are not the centre, make us feel insignificant in this tiny, like a speck, the perspective, existential perspective. I had a lot of words linked into the lingo with regards to Chomsky type mentality of sidelining, semantic, syntactic, just incredible. Capital idea, like on the cast earlier, someone said capital and the language and how we speak, the belittlement, the insignificance of it all. Yes, that's a keeper, that is, Jerry. I agree strongly. Population control from fly. That's it. We have birth control, if you think about it as well, when we're talking about control, because we have the introduction of the birth control pill and the latex condom. So we have barriers for the sexual act. So conception, zygote, etc. Soul will never be made, but the act of sex can be increased tenfold with no payload at the end. We'll say payload, because of certification, bondage, and etc. to be harsh. So there's no payload at the end, and you can do this and fornicate. The Californication. This is where other video the other night it come in, and what we do, how we do it, and what they've brought up upon us, the fleshy side of life, and the just do it YOLO. What I saw when I was DJing. If I was to, it was, geez Louise, and I'm not a squeamish prude, but it got close to the bone. I tried to think the barriers, of the youth and what they're doing now. I was seeing the gas balloons and things going off, so they have introduced as each, like the Pepsi generations, if you look at the line of Pepsi generations and tying into manipulation, control, birth control, language control, financial control. It's grim, because the unborn being born later 50 or 100 years into a national debt that forefathers have created is not a lawful setup at all. You can't be born unto, and the way that the birth placenta, the place that we enter, how it is, the calendar, the timing. I know you only wrote one comment there, brother, but that's a strong point. And in population control and agendas and birth control and control, Pac-Man. Somebody wrote a comment above, Pac, programmable and controllable man. Deep modulation of reality into pixelated pixels and evidences of is again the control there. So thanks, Fly. Respect. Jerry's asking for a rewind off Quinn. Let's go. Yi and Philip and Mark went back to their secret club, went to the private room, had some fun and laughed at the masses. What the hell? Yeah, and Philip and Mark went back to I'm reading it again and now it's going in. I've just thought of our Kev then being Philip. I don't know why I thought Kevin was Philip, but I read Philip and thought Kevin. I'm having to read again, Quinn. I get you. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink, what, secret handshake. Quinn always spins me out when he goes on one. My brain can't take it. Quinn, we need you on a hangout. Are you up for a chat? Ringing up the phone, having a little mind meld. I think the scribes would like that. I'd like that. Just asked you out on a live cast, not professional, but yeah, sorry. Spinning heads out, that's always a good thing. Live at 11 tonight, Crow 777, 25 minutes. Okay, thank you, bro. Around this model has many flaws. The 4D model is more leaning towards what scripture says solves the problems that the AE model has. I'm looking at into the plasma, the states, matter, reality, atom, toroidal, along the lines of the holographic, pixelated, time, space, matter, dimensional, wave things. It's just, yeah, wait, let me just get it. It's to do with Hermes and Thoth. Hermes Trismegistus, the research there and the paradigms with the logic that they had, ancient Arabic algorithms, mathematics, Sumerian base 10, all ties in with a language and a code system then that got lost. That had everything logically up to the points of libraries being burnt and etc. But that's just me, my little line of discovery and whatnot. There is masses of evidence to say and conjecture for, but that was a valid point, and I'm not dissing Daniel, brother. I'm just saying that there's a lot for me to compute and to readjust, as you all are doing in 2020. When I say it's going to be a big old year, I think we're going to have a moment of clarity. For those that are, just let me pin everything. All of the 50 topics have got pins just Gatling gunned across them. 21st of the 12th, 2020, I think might be a divine point of clarity or a collapse of a major system, is all I'm going to say. If this virus collapses China's major system, I see that the stock exchanges and the financial markets will suffer globally, and there'll be a knock-on residual effect. So I'm already thinking that on potentially there could be markets issue food, transport, import, export just from Asia, but it depends on how this alleged infection virus contagion is going off simultaneously while other systems, that's what I mean, there's a lot of crumble going off at the minute. I don't know what's going to be left standing, and what is real, what isn't real when you talk about reality and paradigms and intent and focus and subatomic, atomic, and what we've found, it does get a little bit spinny, so and dangerous. There is a Lovecraft film called The Colour of Space. You might want to frequent alchemists out there whilst I'm pinning and going for a wander within subjects. The Colour of Space, also reviewed by me. Lovecraft inspired HP when we're talking about the alchemists of before and the research and the writings and the studies of. I haven't really looked into too much of, but I've got enough of a bearing and a grip on such men as Lovecraft and Crowley and Hall and Manley, I think, yeah, P. Relevance is there, energies and research, so some films to review for your scribes as well, above and below. Yes, Lisa. They have moon dust, they must have landed man on the moon or flew drones just like they used to bomb a man on a donkey from the... Yeah, because I said Mr. Dav 991, so impersonal. We're just going to call you 991, 9918, 1 and 8, 9, 9 and 1, 10. Mr. 10. Eric von Daniken and all his works and studies and such others coming in from, the realm. What? So if there is a firmament and such things as, and there is no way of, and we are grounded, immovably fixed, and let's get back to the review of the topic. Yes, good point. That would have issues with, unless you know the phonic keys, like these blocks, stone doors in the desert, that if you sing the right chords and stuff, turn into the gates of gods and such paradigms of, going through different dimensions and worlds and stuff that have been alleged. So similar thing. Why doesn't the atmosphere suck out into space? Mark did stress that in the room. If you suck out the atmosphere and then open a flap, then all the air will come rushing in. He said, so that's, see what I mean? Respect to him. It was articulately and well pointed out that some of the simple issues, and so with that respect, the paradigm of the atmosphere sucking out into the spatial realm. So the Crow 777 and the wave. The amount of times that freedom of informations have proven that the government have had conspiracies and have had secret whatevers, and the truth is often, is more stranger than the lie. They are making models, Daniel. Vacuums, balls, water, spinning. There's lots going off. We should have. That's what I've said before, many and various times, that the fact man doesn't definitively know and hasn't got evidence is a crime to man. With all this alleged technology and superiority that we have, it's an absolute laughable, farcical joke and a crime to man. It's caused more controversy and had more energy spent on it than is fathomable. Lots of secret operations, Operation Fishbowl, Operation High Jump, Operation, and what is alleged again. Insane. It really is just Operation Swaziland. What? Salt Lake Flats, 18 maps split into 33. Yes, I'm loving it. I can remember when Quinn showed up asking for a hangout. Get him on, Dave. Echo back from Fly. Fly's caught that and bounced it. Yes, we will sort that. Yes, we will get something sorted, mate. Give me time, brother. Almost. Yeah, it's all good. Just know that eye is open. Never let it be said that David wouldn't chat with a fam. You have much to offer. Look at Fly go. You are an agent. Look at you, diplomat. A born diplomat, you Fly. You've got all the makings of a diplomatic ambassador. That's as simply as I could put it. That's what you do, look. Bosh. You've just qualified. That would be excellent, Quinn. And there's Sister Lisa. Equally. No, I didn't watch the sound. Bring a channel video name Sound Alchemy. No, only to gain. Post the links. Just type in what I wrote, brother. These scribes are lazy, Quinn. You got to help them. You've got to bring the mountain to Muhammad. Have you not learnt that yet, my man? Fly, you got to go and do some walking, mate. What do you call a fly with no wings? A walk. Fly, off you go. Mr. Dav wasn't my idea, can't change it now. Is your name David? Are you called? Sorry, it's tired, I'm late, we're at E-Soldiers. Are you called David in reality? What would you like us to, if you could rename it, as I'm sure you could edit the bit there, I reckon you could there, bro. If you could take away the mister and give yourself another nickname, what would it be? Here's my interview. Lifting the lid? What do you mean? Lifting the lid's just lifted the bar. Here's my interview with Mark afterwards. Are you blue? You're not blue. You can't post. No. Wait, let me make you blue. Can I add moderator from the handset? I do believe we have the power. 1 minute left in. Come on. No. Somebody's going to have to help lifting the lid. Or I'll go to your channel afterwards and I'll find it. They're not letting me yet. I have to do it from the laptop. Yeah, that persuasion. Pressing through the glass. Software update ready to install. Oh, no, no, no. Not yet. Lift in. Thank you. Nice to meet you. New scribe, I do believe. Can you tell us what you do? What's your channel about? What's your interest lifting? What's brought you to me? ITV this morning, Flat Earth, Mark Sargent, Sunday night chatter. You'll have to have a rewind on this because I have extensively broken it down and mentioned all the major points of which this pantomime has displayed upon the nation there of raw consciousness, the potential for it will have aggravated and vexated a third of the nation. It will have pleased, I'd like to think, a third of the nation, and it will have confused opposingly the other third of the nation and put them into some kind of mad Hegelian dialect with the thesis and antithesis and all this bouncing like a pinball. It does, like politics, as you've seen them divide family members up, family units, ostracized, labeled, but then the ones that think outside the box and go out there and often bear the brunt of the force, initially, and folk man doesn't like change. The lambs, the lamps, they don't like being sheared, and we can do that honourably, like that. That wasn't honourable on part of ITV. It was very contrived and focused, and it was quite, negative in a way. Very short time to get a complex subject like that in articulately, fairly, evenly, without calling in the scientists of such, academic background. A national chat about serious subjects would have been better, like getting to the core of something else, but I'm happy to have seen it, and I'm also frustrated and vexated in other ways. I've subbed since your Sun and Moon appearance and followed Free Man of the Land and really admire your trust work. Oh, thank you, lifting. That's just a little boost man needed to get through there. All 1 hour and 15 minutes. Respect. Lifting a lid, I was at the Portugal Flat Earth Global Light Tour, did a good 5-6 hours activism first time. Yes, Daniel, get in there, he's put in the effort, man's done the groundwork. Yeah, it's alright, it's laid back, it's casual, it's informal, it's respectful. Sometimes we might say, love you bro, love you sister, because we get told, we're not told enough that we're loved, and the vibration there. I am a random. We do have structure, and I have a recount the ITV this morning, 5 days old interview, as much as I wanted to, and if I could help in any way with any questions now before we go, or anything that you want to ask, however random it is, the floor is yours. I yield. I'm doing free activism in March, Bristol and Bath. I'll make sure you let us know. We'll promote, help, share. That knows lifting. That knows how it is. Lifting lid, lifting to lid, lifting lid light. I like that. It's got a nice metaphorical projection of peeking, sneaking, peeking duck, aka lifting the lid. See coming together in 2020 of the ego-free, helpful people. Yes, man is helping man, indeed, G. Don't pull me on the TO to get a Quinn. Mark said that the crew will show more shows this year. Mark said the crew will. So more shows, all right. Does that mean he's going back onto the show with Holly and Phil? Or you mean he's doing more shows? I know he was founded his notoriousness and notoriety by documentary, wasn't it? Behind the Curve, is that the one? Yes. And so respect to anyone that does groundwork, and I know more than anyone as well. And in the adversity, that's what I mean. So if we look at many areas, much like they did try to with the pretense of the pyramids, and Egyptologist, and then an archaeologist, and then an astrologist, all got together finally and had a chat, they started to get a more clearer picture. So what we have done is just by logic, the same. And when you look at all the correlating bits of data that we have now, it's and that we all chat easier, and that we've had these podcasts and time to dissolve new information and to let the conscious absorb it and see where we want to go, then truly remarkable things have been done already. And if there was to be a full stop right now, I'm putting it nicely, and the clock was to physically stop for everyone, then I think we could be proud amongst over sorry for where we are and what we've done. Because we clearly have established that if we had the control and rights and minds and it was put to man, things wouldn't be like this. We'd probably have a woman in charge, or a central computer, and we'd be advanced enough just not to have the white, pale, stale male conglomerate banking society of the Club of Rome that has established itself in every major landmass just about. So yes, this topic and subject matter, we have proven that the academic routes have been controlled and contrived, and publications and articulations of energy sources and mathematics and sciences and languages and grammar have all been contrived, and development has been arrested. And we've proven too many things with the communication of the minds and the family, and the information and translation and the re-amalgamation and mistakes and errors, and then coming back to it after time. We've got something. And I'm happy to have had a chat with you tonight and to have left this down, because I feel that comment by Phil was a low blow for ones that know. Well, if it is a scam and there is a dome above us, or there isn't a space program, then we can save all that money. All that money, there's trillions. It really is a dirty, deep little black hole of financial loss of equity. And to put it politely, when we say usurpation and projects of blackness, DARPA, for the states, you see their space projects and what they're proclaiming at the minute: International Space Team, Team America goes to space. Perhaps when if others are right and there is a continuum of, they're building the space station so the elite few, the bloodline, can continue in an environment, while all this lot that's in the merry, think of a Hollywood film like Fifth Element or something, where you've got all that pollution and contaminant, and they need to get out of here for a bit while it all settles down and re-terraforms, into what they want. So like I say, it's got this topic is very interesting for me, because I'm a man that likes to fragment. I'm a man that likes rabbit holes. I'm a man that likes mystery. I like numbers and datas. I like science and sci-fi. I'm not afraid to talk about aliens and ancient stuff and astronauts and the development there. We've got a lot of archaeology and things that correlate, and if you are in that way slightly with any one of them, it's enough to gravitate you in, the gravitas of it, and get you ensconced in a corner with a sketch pad and some theories and ideas and documentaries and a hard determination to prove to everyone it's round, you idiots. Can't you see? I learnt this when I was 2. That's a cat and the world is round. Yes. So it is a paradigm of a mass distraction as well, but equally fun as long as you don't let it overtake and become your main priority in life, because it isn't. Things will continue and you will be put to at the mercy of. So we've got to crack on. Iron FE, quote of the day: never in the field of human conflict was so much fucked up for so many by so few. You've seen one of my thumbnails, haven't you, my new scriber? Iron FE, thank you very much. Lifting. Well, if you're in a producer's team that are globe deniers. Yes. Alright, caught up. The Sunday Mail, the show went viral. The SI, kudos. From Indigo Channel, thought it was a good one. What's that? What was a good one? What's that, my son? Well, for myself, bless you, fly. Can Class 1 licence be protected from the dreaded you-know-who? I'm not sure I know who. And a Class 1 licence is a licence. It's susceptible to amendments, edits and so forth by those lot. Yes, I see who you mean now. You know who. The old bill and the institutions will manage that accordingly, and no, you could not protect a public commercial licence as far as I know. You can only manage it as a license for your driver, like the person, but now we go person, driver, spacesuit driver, etc. And you manage it that way. But then to act in the commercial realm privately would take some setup. All right, before we get, I can almost see Mr. Dav. Class 1 license is open game, nutshell there. Here we go. Yes, fly. Iron FE. We've mentioned the B word. Brexit. We have England. We have the United Kingdom. You see, in this corporate city of London, and the Bank of England, such other established strongholds that London town has within its walls. I've kind of lost my point then, but we've got the 3 labels. You've got Brexit, which stands for Britain exiting the European Union, but then we have England, we have the United Kingdom, and it's Brexit negotiating, England, Britain, and then there's the UK. So the Space Force, that's it, not Team America. Stargate, real life. But when the Space Force comes, what I will tell you now, my opinion is, they will give you the disclosure through this. This is like the US Air Force then going spatial, sending the Air Force to space in a way. It's not the Navy, it's not the Army. This is a team, so it's equivalent to, and who has the exclusive rights. I say that like I know it's a fact, who appears to, it's late, I'm at ease, the exclusive rights to this technology, hangars, Yes, and space places are known to be with the Air Force, and areas of that we've seen are usually with the Air Force. So the space program will be the Air Force's way to indirectly, maybe with a little bit of SpaceX and whatnot, because they've glorified the reverse rocket technology. And look what we can do. They're starving women and children and men all around the world, but we can send a rocket up and reverse it and get it back. Look at that, everyone. Isn't that marvellous? Well, it would be marvellous if everybody was sat pretty well fed, but until then, can we not get back to what's the bigger issue? So I kind of splintered then, I'm sorry about that, but Space Force in general, disclosure, get the mince pies peeled, fam. All right, I can envisage that getting taken out in the next 10 years. Daniel with mud floods, you badass. Why go and just take it onto that? Any questions? We're getting off. We're splintering. We're all splintering within splinters. What I do when I have a cast is go on a chat and splinter. Some of you splinter with me, but then you pick one of them or one of your own and go off on one, and you're having your chat splintering off. And in itself, if it was in like some kind of digital 3D map of what we're all doing right now, you'd be quite surprised at the avenues of communication and the layers of consciousness that's into like a Vulcan mind meld, but with keyboards and thumb pads. And it's credit to you for what you do. It's not easy, all right, because there's a lot of isolation and egos out there. So respect, because I see what go on, and I see how we're doing and how we're changing, and it's a beautiful thing. It's a uniquely nature thing, because if you, my goodness, if you took that 3D map of our chat today in this chat room and the conversations and the lines and the layout of it, you'd find something in nature to compare that to. I'm thinking something like a biological, natural thing that would then relate to, so or maybe out in the spatial area it would be a rule, or that algorithm, that pathway, it'd have rules and maths and stuff to it. Bosh. Yes, we have got the captain. FPV comes in and says what I've mirrored one of his videos at his request, and yes, I did enjoy my time with them and looking at the topics. And we're at the bottom with Daniel, so any questions? To you 17, thank you for the 8 thumbs up. Questions, comments, anything you've got, your feedback. And have you watched the interview with Mark Sargent on ITV this morning? If not, go to the channel, then give me some comments underneath, and we'll have a little tennis match of comments and input and feedback with reference to and there's bigger things to talk about that are just as controversial, though. This is as controversial as it gets, to be fair, other than the monarchy being in the news for such claims as and you get this kind of controversial level going, and we see that, and I'd like to raise it, like one of you have come in and raised the bar there. We'd like to raise the bar, the intellectual conversation, and just have a nice half an hour dip into the data self, the legal liability, the assumptiveness, the presumptiveness. I think I'm at the stage where I could do that confidently with a little bit of backing from you, a little bit of prep. I could lay out with somebody there trusted at my side to get me if all went to go blank moment, and we could do a lot of good, save a lot of souls, save our souls, explain, and constructively, non-violently move closer to the end objective, which is a universal, non-sectarian remedy for all, where we would declare the world's resources our common heritage again. We would put the women and children first, look at the animal and plant kingdom after looking at the kingdom of man. and immediately look to work in line with it, with these natural laws, vibrations, frequencies, resonance, and everything that we've got, and eradicate all things such as. So we have got, you know, a big year. I am excited to see what go on and how our minds develop and what topics. I do believe the Christian faith is going to get some attention, and right, due attention. Okay, and other than the US Air Force doing a disclosure through the military space team there of the Trumpsters, I do see that the Christian faith is going to come under some scrutiny, and with the studies and works and talks and things that we've found, I think that we're going to inadvertently bring it down, but not bring it down, but cause a movement to other ways and, you know, of thinking. So just bear in mind what is going off, because if one man's mind, you know, can't take just one of these subjects, it's not good for that man to know that we've got about 10 massive subjects that all need to be. So we need to outlay that, you know, before the wave hits the common communities that aren't privy to what we're privy to. This is the point of all this, not to say, oh, look what I found out, oh, look what I've got, oh, look who I've talked to, oh, look how many subscribe. No, it's about putting into place something to stop and to prepare and to, you know, alternatives to, you know, the traditional lineage history of that we've brought to you. And there is a great amount, surprising, unlimited in some areas, amount of alternatives that you could not have made up. For one, fire from water. I will give you fire from water now. I got told at school I'd end up in prison and amount to nothing because I was you know, shizen back then, and here we are, excelling in areas of, by accident and not by premeditation, out schooling the scholars of the academic realm. So for that, give yourselves a pat on the back, a high five. Go to sleep on this Sunday Eve knowing that you're all masters, unacknowledged masters of a guild, of a fam, of a clan. You know, we're not blood related, but you've got that, you know. And yeah, if we can move forward this year and keep the level or even increase, there's at least 10, like I say, that are just truly fantastic. And pick your area, let us know. And I think on the 21st of the 12th 2020 there'll be more clarity than there ever has been. And if that comes through the form of a P1000 or a video cast or a publication or all three, then get ready. Don't say you weren't warned. Happiness and positivity is where I'm going, not negativity, more total opposite. It's the best I can do. All right, I'm not a magician, as I tell many. I just have to work with what we've got. So peace and love and respect for that. All right. Speaking of FPV, and he pops up. FPV, were your ears warm by any chance? Amazing. Justinian Deception would like a chat with Santos, Dave. See if you can sort that, mate. I have a contact with Brother S regular, and we are linked up. But this is what I mean about the universe. You can't just, universe can't just, as we're talking about, not just, right, stop everything. Pins out again. It's just too much sometimes. We're just chatting of F. He appears. Not only does he appear as a messenger with burning ears of redness. And he says, randomly, well, surely Justinian would have the ability, for one, because, you know, little old David and others contact Santos and successfully end up having chats with. So why would you need a proxy? Not being an arse, just saying. I could. I have 1,000,001 jobs to do, but if I want to chat with Justinian Deception, the irony is I've endeavoured to send Mark, I think Woodlands on Facebook, if that was a good year and a year and a half ago. So if I've remembered that right, kudos to me. And I've sent emails to Gmail accounts saying, hello, I have a channel. I think you kick arse with some of the stuff you give out there. I'm a bit confused. Can you enlighten me? Thank you, David. And nothing's come back, F. So on the other hand, I can tell you that I've messaged Romley, Glosser and Mark Woodlands on Facebook and said, hello, I'm Dave, this is where we live, this is what we do, respect, and he didn't answer me back. So yeah, I don't think that's gonna work, my son, my brother. Don't bite the nose off to spite the face. Yes, wise words, Jerry. I will try. I was try. Martin's dropped in. Easy. All right, David and all. Yes, I. How we doing? Riders in the house. Meow, 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 meow. Riders in the house. What's that? The Doors. It's a cool tune, that, Martin. I'll dedicate that to you. The Doors. I made an earth map using radar, sonar, echo, data, density of map, all sorts, a lot of areas. On and off the land. If you've just joined now, we're shutting down. I have given a review on ITV this morning. Mark Sargent, Holly, and Philip. And you get your comments underneath, and I'll review them during next week. We'll get back to them. I'll give out everything I can, and hilarious and vexating at the same time. Lol, yes, FPV. He will be flat soon, just needs a chat with Santos. And I commend him under his channel, yes, F. Halo appeared. Right then. So we're all good. There's no more questions, no your comments. We're finishing. All right. I am hosting now an internal chat network via this channel. It's like you've all come here to commune and catch up and network. It's like I'm watching a little town market trade and catch up and chitter chatter. To call it Dave's Cafe, not Indiglo. But it's my honour and privilege. You bring a smile to my heart, all of you. You are not imposing in any way. Jim Morrison, part of the 27 Club. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you. I know the Doors, yeah. Lady Karen, Special K, Lady Karen. That's it. We've got much respect for her. She's done great work. Respect for the honour there, G. So, alright then, I'll go and watch some of the Justinian videos, and I will let you know what go on. When I know what go on, then I don't know how to contact Justinian, but I can tell Santos that Justinian wants to chat. Romley, good lord, look what you've got me doing. Romley of the Stuart clan, by proxy of one of my scribes, wants to chat with you, Brother S, and then I'll see if he can reach out, and then if that does happen, I'd like a chat with Romley. Santos is what I'm going to say at the same time. So if he does, I've already asked Santos if he could please maybe have half hour, maybe an hour. I think an hour would do, with Jordan and him on People for People. If he gets Jordan back, then I'd like to Rochambeau with them two minds. So we are in the 2020. There is no holds barred. We're raising the bar. So let's press on as we intend to, and have that confidence without the ego. All right. F. It shall be done. Scribes, my word is my bond. I will tell Santos. That's my limit and capability. Is that good? That do make me smile, as we say here. Good night. Nice one. I'm not trying to say that again. I've already embarrassed myself trying to say that, G. I promise I will be in touch. Didn't mean to be. No, it's all good. We're busy, and the ball is in. The power is in your hands, Quinn. It's over to you. All right, with no ticking clock. We need Romley on this stream, Dave. That would be excellent. That's what I'm saying. They will do it. We'll get Santos, Romley, and yeah, if I can squeeze in, then that'd be excellent. But I don't think there's room. But it depends. F, have you got any more information that I could perhaps tell Santos other than brother R Romley wants to have a chat? As he said this on a video cast on Tube. Are you in touch with Romley, may I ask? Could you answer these, and then that would help clarify what I say to Santos, how I say that, yeah, because it might seem a bit weird. I'm not an agent, and yeah, it may end up going badly, and then Santos may blame me for being the man to say so. This is what I mean, you know what I mean? This is what the liability comes in with it being a resulting agent, facilitator. But when it's for a light contract and it does good, then it's all well. But when it's for a light contract and it does good but it goes badly, then I still get my ass burnt, and I need to know more data. Yes, Dave. Email David at splspro.com, and then we'll chat there, S, and I'll give the information over to brother S. It will be done. All right then, so thank you. Random, but this is how the business works, I suppose. The business of truth, finding truth, getting truth together. It will not be televised, as you will see via ITV this morning. Let's link it all back in as we shut down. The NASA's told us this, you know. Yes, Philip. Okay, so where did NASA come from? Brilliant, Mark. Controversial, short. You know, promised me a Big Mac and gave us a French fry. That's what you did there. Hilarious. And it should be continued that in many ways, which is where we step in. We do what we can. Honour and a pleasure. S, you've arrived at the end. This is the end. That's another sorry. This is the end. And you've just arrived, so I just happen to have that. I don't know why that's permeating around, ensconced in my memory. I haven't been listening to any Doors music, not that I know of. It's been fun. Much love. Kicking ass and Halo steady. You'll be careful out there with your shenanigans, Sister Lisa. All right. I hope you've got good medical insurance with the activities that you get up to. I'm sure it's fun, and I'm sure you're well versed at what you do and how you do it. I can only sit here jealously thinking, mentally playing out, as I did earlier in this cast, what go on there. Beautiful friend. Oh, Quinn's off too. Sorry if you've got that in your mind as you're trying to get to sleep, and you curse me. Please don't. I'm sorry. This is the end. All right. Goodbye. Thank you. Well done to all for the work. Keep it up.